Hey, what's up? I'm Orlando with On Point Custom Auto here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. What we're gonna help you out with today is we're gonna show you how to drop the headliner on any 2019 to 2022 GMC Sierra. It's not that hard. On a scale of 1 to 5, it's probably gonna be a 3. It's not gonna take too many tools. You can find them in your everyday toolbox. And it's not gonna take you a ridiculously long amount of time. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna drop the headliner so we can install a Galaxy headliner kit, and we're gonna show you how to get that done A to Z. You can use this video for tons of different applications. We hope you like it. Let's get this started. All right, let's get started. Here's what you're gonna need to do the job. Whether it's a hand tool or a power tool, you're gonna need a 3/8 or a 1/4 inch connector for a ratchet. You're gonna need an extension, a 7 mil, an 8 mil, and a 10 mil. You're also gonna need a T10 and a T15 and some type of wedging tool. All right, let's get started. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is open up both the front and rear door. You're gonna wanna take off the weather stripping that's on the inside of each door, so that way you can release the top of the headliner and the plastics from the pillars on the front and the rear seat. You can take your hands and you can pull on them, and everything's gonna come down nice and easy. You shouldn't have an issue with that. You don't need a tool for it. And then we're gonna get to the inside and get to the next step. Let's go. We're gonna start by removing the drop-down visor. You're gonna take the visor out and you're gonna extend it. Then you're gonna take one of your plastic wedge tools and you're literally gonna slide it right in between, and you'll be able to fully remove that plastic piece. And you're gonna see that there are 3 T15 hex head bolts that are right there. You're gonna remove those 3 T15 hex head bolts, and then it's gonna show you that there's a wire that's hanging out from there. We'll get to that part next. Once you remove all 3 screws, you should literally just be able to pop that right out. It's gonna hang. There's no problem with it. It is strong enough to take it right underneath the headliner. You're gonna wedge your hand in right here. You'll be able to feel that there is a plug. You're going to free the plug from the little bit of glue that's holding it to the headliner by just pulling it, so that way you don't break the plug itself. And then once that's done, you'll see right here that the plug has shown itself. You're going to take your flathead and you are going to go ahead and pop that loose, and then you're going to go ahead and put that to the side. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your plastic wedge and you're going to pop this little flap open right here, and it has another T15 head bolt, and you're going to remove that. That also holds the visor. After you've removed the 3 hex head bolts and freed off the clip from your drop down visor, and after you have removed the T15 bolt that's holding on the drop down visor, I guess you can say bracket or mount that locks it down, that will totally free up this corner that's on the driver's side. Your next step is you're going to want to take your plastic handle, and you're going to want to wedge right in between there, and you're going to want to take your wedge and wedge right in between there so you can pop both of those pieces off. And underneath there's going to be 2 10mm bolts that's holding it down. The entire passenger side of this car has already been done. We're just showing you guys how to do the driver's side of the vehicle. It's exactly the same driver's side to passenger. So let's finish getting this knocked out. All right, we've gotten those covers removed, and we're taking off this last 10mm. Once you get this last 10mm off, that driver's side pillar is totally free. You're gonna go ahead and remove that. You're gonna give it just a quick little nice pull, and you're gonna see that it's totally freed itself. All right, you're gonna duplicate that over to the passenger side, and you can drop off the visor and the pillar that exact same way. In the next step, we're gonna remove the centerpiece that goes into your headliner. It helps with your SOS and your OnStar, your sunroof if you got a sunroof, or your rear window. You're gonna take your plastic wedge tool and you're gonna pop off the cover that's on both sides, left and right. And you're gonna see that there's a 10mm T10 that goes right there, a hex head. You're gonna go ahead and remove those 4 bolts, and then we're gonna go to the next step. All right. Once you've removed those 4 T10 hex head bolts and you have removed those 2 covers that are covering them, you can literally just stick your hand right at the front of it and pop it right out. And then you have 2 plugs that are going in there. That third plug would be for sunroof. So if you do not have a sunroof, that's why that plug is not there. If you do have a sunroof, we'll show you how to work around that in the next video. Once you remove that centerpiece, you should see that the entire front half of your headliner is already loose and it's down. The next step is for us to remove the driver's side and the passenger side pillar. You're going to go ahead and pop that off. It'll make it a little easier for you to remove that. Then you're going to take your plastic wedge tool and you're going to pop that off, and you're going to reveal right there a 7mm bolt. Once you've taken off that plastic cover, you're going to remove that 7mm bolt that's right there, and then you're going to take your plastic wedge tool and you're going to come to the side of the pillar and you're going to remove those two plastic covers, and you're going to reveal two 10mm bolts. All right. Once you have the 7mm and both of those 10mm bolts out, the pillar can literally just get pulled right out. And then you can just put that down to the side. And now we're gonna hop into the back of the vehicle. Before hopping into the back, the first thing that you should do is you should go ahead and remove the left side and the right side headrest. It's gonna make it easier for you to drop down the headliner and for you to remove both pillars. Once you're on the inside of the car, you can pop off that cover right there by hand. You won't have to worry about that. And then you can come in here and pull that cover right off. No tool is needed for that, just to get that off, but you will need a tool for this next step. When you bend this out, you're gonna see that there is a 7mm bolt right there. You're gonna take that 7mm bolt off. That is gonna allow you to fully remove this piece and drop it down to the side. You don't have to do that necessarily, but I do. It takes 5 seconds for you to do that, and it's gonna make it so much easier for you to remove the headliner. Once you've removed the side pillar in the rear, you're gonna go ahead back with your plastic wedge tool, and you're gonna pop this tab off that's right here. That's usually what you use to hang up clothes and stuff like that. And you're gonna reveal one 8mm bolt. Go ahead and remove that. All right. Once you get this 8mm bolt removed, you're gonna put the bolt off to the side, and then you're gonna go ahead and pull this tab out so we can remove it from there. And your whole rear side is going to be removed, the rear side of the headliner is gonna be freed up. All right, after you get that 8mm bolt loose, you're gonna go ahead and put it off to the side, and then you're gonna take off the hanger, and you're gonna put that off to the side. And as you can see, the whole rear side of the headliner is free. The last step that you need to do is to duplicate this over to the driver's side, and we're gonna go ahead and remove that right now. Literally all you need to do is take your wedge tool and pop that down. You could even pop it with your hand. It's not that hard. And as you can see, the rest of the headliner it's down. We're down. We're ready to remove this thing. So we're gonna go ahead and unplug that clip so we can free it out, and it's gonna drop down some more. And as you can see back here on the headliner actually is already free. You're gonna free it more just by pulling it down and pulling it forward, because it's gonna pull out and forward. It's got one little safety tab that's plugged in right there. Boom. And look at that. Whole rear headliner's been dropped down. Whole front headliner's been dropped down. Only thing that's holding it up right now is a little bit of the harness that's up there on the passenger side, and we're gonna go ahead and remove that right now. Okay, once you're at the front of the vehicle, the first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna go ahead and lower down both of the driver and the passenger front seat as far as you can possibly get them down. You don't necessarily need to remove the front headrests. I am going to remove them just because it's gonna give me, once again, a little bit more clearance for me to get this headliner out. All right, once both seats have been lowered, basically what we're gonna do is we are going to remove this harness from the headliner. It's just glued down. You can take your plastic wedge, or you can go ahead and pull on it. It's okay, don't worry about any of that. It's okay for you to pull this right up just like that and put some force on it. You're gonna go ahead and pull out the entire harness all the way around, so that way we can leave the harness in the vehicle. And you're gonna look at it and kind of remember exactly where, you know, those plugs go and everything, so that way when you leave everything in the car, you know where to plug back in. These plugs, you're gonna go ahead and unplug that plug. You're gonna unplug that plug. There's two that are here on the passenger side. There's only one that's over there on the driver's side. And you've got the harness that goes all the way into the back and across and around. And it's gonna run into the back window. It's literally just gonna be left hanging in the car. So go ahead and remove all of the wiring from the headliner, get these plugs unplugged, and then get back to this next step. Let's go. All right, we've completely removed the harness from the headliner. As we told you, there was only one plug over there. There were two plugs here, and then you've got the plug that falls into the center for your light. And there is a plug that's back there, but we didn't unplug it because, like I said, we're going to leave this harness inside the car. The only thing that is going to come out is the actual headliner itself. In order to remove this headliner, it makes it a lot easier if you do put the front seats all the way forward. Okay, once you've got the headliner dropped down and you have the seats pushed forward, you'll see that the headliner starts to lean, and that's going to make it easier for us to pull it out of the back door. What you're going to want to do is push the headliner forward just a tad bit, so that way you can lean the passenger side down and the driver's side up, and you're going to go right out with this groove right here. It's okay if it bends a little bit. The headliner will straighten itself out once you put it back inside of the car. All right, we just finished helping you out on removing this headliner on a 2021 GMC Sierra. You can use this same video to remove any headliner from any 19 to 2022 GMC Sierra or Chevy Silverado. We're using this video so that way we can install a Galaxy headliner kit. We're gonna show you what that looks like at the end of the video. If you'd like to order one from us, go ahead and click that link at the bottom or send us a message. You can also call us. That number's been at the bottom of the video a couple of times as you've seen it. I hope you liked the video. Give us a like, give us a share, tell your friends about us, and we hope that this video helped you at the end of the day. God bless. All right, let's get started on the next step. Once you have the headliner completely removed, you're gonna throw it on a table or some horses. Make sure that you use a couple blankets or towels on the bottom side so you don't get any staining or scratching on the good side of the headliner. And then what you're gonna go into doing is you're gonna start taking off all of these brackets, these little styrofoam little brackets that are on there. These are like cushion pads. You're gonna take off all of this stuff that's on there. All this needs to be removed to make it easier for you to get a pattern that is gonna look like you don't have a square missing on the bottom side of it, and make everything look like it's conformed together. Then you're gonna take a scraper. You can even take your wedging tool, and you're going to pull up all of the old glue that's laying around. All of this stuff needs to come off. You can pull it off with a fingernail the same way I'm doing it, or you can go ahead and get like a paint scraper or your plastic wedge tool that you're using inside of the car, and this will help you pick it up. You want to take up all of this glue. You want to get it all off because you don't want it to mess with where you're trying to put your pattern down. And then once you have the headliner completely cleaned, we're going to go on to the next step. All right, as you can see, we got everything all nice and cleaned off. Like I said, you're only taking off the glue. Don't worry about having to remove all of that from the entire headliner. That's going to be totally fine. The next thing you're going to do after that is you're going to take a marker and you're going to mark right on the outside of each of the door dinger sensors. and you're gonna come out. As you can see, I messed up on my first line. That's totally fine. You're gonna use the inner line, and you're gonna stay on top of the clothes hangers, and then you're gonna come right to the back of the curve, and you're gonna follow that, and you're gonna make sure that you keep all of your fiber optic strands inside of this square boxed area. So that way you know where you have the most clearance. And let's get on to the next step. All right, as you can see, we've already done a portion of the headliner. On this headliner, we are going to do 800 pieces. So we broke it up into 3 sections: section 1, section 2, and section 3. I find it faster if you set up the whole headliner. So I have about 1,000 pieces there. I counted out 800, and I set them into a cup. And I want to put 250 into each section. And after I put 250 into each section, I'm going to slap 50 into my empty spaces. So all I've been doing, so that way you can see, I'm just doing this random. I'm using a 3-finger rule. So as long as I can fit 3 fingers in between most of the lighting, I'm good. And I want to start with the 3-finger rule to make sure that I get enough spacing to be able to fit at least 180 to 200 going across. And you're going to see that you're going to be able to fit 180 to 200. And then you're going to start filling empty gaps and spaces. You don't want it to look perfect. You don't need it to look perfect. That's the whole point of it looking like the stars, is you look up at the sky and the sky doesn't look perfect. There's a lot of other things that you can do when you do this headliner. I have helped quite a few people that have hit me up through YouTube to do designs. You can basically get a stencil, and you can lay a stencil down. If you know an artist, you can have them draw a pattern, and then you can heavily dot that pattern. Is what you're going to do. You're going to outline it, and then you're going to heavily dot it, and then you're going to loosely dot everything around so it still looks like a starliner. And then you can use 2 controllers, one for your design, and you can use one for for the rest of the headliner. You're going to go ahead and you're going to slap, like I said, 180 to 200 through this area. And then you're going to come back with the last 50 to 70 and start dotting in empty areas. Like you can see over here, it's pretty nice and filled. You can fill an empty gap. And let's say you think you have like a straight line and it doesn't look like a pattern. You can fill an empty gap real quick. There's a quick trick that I use. You can slap 2 or 3 into that same area kind of off, and when you look at it back from that area, now that full center is gapped, it looks like a constellation, and it's going to look really nice and lit from the other side. So go ahead and, like I said, 250, 250, 250, and then let's get back to the next step. All right. The next step after you've poked all of your holes with the pins is for you to go ahead and start grabbing the fiber optics one by one and start passing them through the same way that you've seen us do right here. You're gonna go literally one by one, and you're gonna pull one of those out, and you're gonna go ahead and slap the fiber optic right through that hole. You're gonna go ahead and pull it out from the bottom, and then you're gonna go ahead and go on to the next one. And you're going to repeat that 500, 600, 800 times. Obviously, as you can see, we've got about 800 pieces in here already, and we only left the last couple just to show you that it can be done, and it's not that hard. It's just a little time consuming. You're going to pull those through, and then once you're finished, you're going to come along to the bottom side, and you're going to start trimming these wires. Or trimming the fiber optic. You're going to want to leave at least, I'd say, 6 to 12 inches off the bottom. Once you finish poking all of the fiber optics through and pulling them through, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take some crazy glue, and you don't have to dot every single hole, but you're going to want to dot at least 100 random holes, just so that way they will hold down all the other pieces, and that way everything won't flex. Okay, the next step after you've poked all of the fiber optics through is for you to go ahead and grab some crazy glue, You're going to pull the fiber optics through, and you're going to want to literally just pull down on it, not too hard, but you want to start getting all of these strands that are loose and high. You want to get them a little closer down, and then you're going to take your crazy glue and you're literally going to go over, I'd say about 100 different random spots. This is gonna help hold down the headliner when it starts flexing and moving and when you're putting it back in place. So just, walk around and use that tube and smack 100 dots where you can. And then once you're done with that, you're gonna go ahead and come down to the bottom side, and you're gonna take a set of pliers or wire cutters, and you are going to start trimming all of this down. You're gonna wanna leave, I'd say, about 12 inches of fiber optics left over. That way it leaves us a little bit of play so you can pull some of those strands through, or so that way they can pull back up when you flex. And we're gonna go ahead and finish this up. So we're gonna get you to the next step and show you what it looks like. All right, we went ahead and connected our power converter, and we trimmed everything down. We left everything between 8 to 12 inches. So that way, if anything is gonna pull back through a little bit when we are bending and flexing this to put back inside of the vehicle, then none of the fiber optic is gonna pull back out the opposite way or break. All right, your last and final step is you're gonna wanna tape down the fiber optics, just so that way it'll hold them down and it'll give you some more clearance when you're gonna go ahead and put this through back into the car. While I'm cutting and while I am taping, I've got the fiber optics on, so that way I can let the controller run for a few hours just to make sure that it's not a dud. I've sold over 1,000 on YouTube and eBay and Amazon, and I've installed hundreds. I have never had one of these controllers fail. So if there's a failure in your controller, 9 times out of 10, you probably plugged it in the wrong way. All right, we're all finished up. We just finished getting the headliner back in. We basically refollowed the video and went all the way back from scratch, and we just did it in reverse. We put everything back together. We wired everything up. All I did was wire it to a fuse in the ignition source. Looks dope. Today what we helped you out with is we showed you how to drop the headliner. We showed you how to install some stars. And we showed you how to save some money. It wasn't that hard. We hope you liked the video. Click subscribe, click like, and please share this with somebody. Take care and God bless. On Point Custom Auto, 773-920-0538. On Point Custom Auto on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. This is a 19 to 21 style GMC Sierra. What we did was we installed the Galaxy headliner kit in it. We can do this for any year, make, and model of vehicle. Set it and forget it. It's got multiple color functions. Looks dope, man. It's a great way to add a nice touch to your vehicle and make it yours, one of a kind. Hit us up, 773-920-0538. On Point Custom Auto on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. We hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to click like and subscribe at the bottom, all right?